we are going to be looking at elastic file system. We are going to be looking at elastic file system. Yesterday we did EBS. EBS is called elastic block store, the elastic block storage. So today we are going to be looking at elastic file system. And with the elastic file system, there is a lot of literature to be explained, so we are just going to try and go over the literature as fast as possible. Okay, so what is an elastic file system? Generally, we did EBS and we saw that EBS is a storage device. It is just like a hard drive for virtual computers or for EC2 instances. EBS is a virtual device. Now we are doing elastic file system. What is an elastic file system? An elastic file system is also a storage system in the cloud. It is also a storage system in the cloud. It has the same functionalities like the EBS. It has the same functionality. Now, the difference between an elastic file system and an EFS and an EBS is that an EFS does not have a particular size. For example, if you go to the market that you want to go and buy a hard drive, let us compare an EFS and EBS to a physical hard drive. If you go to the market that you want to buy a hard drive, you will go and specify the particular volume of hard drive that you want. When you specify the particular volume of hard drive that you want, they will give you that particular volume. So if you go and say that I need a 500 GB hard drive, they will give you a 500 GB hard drive, right? They'll give you this type of a hard drive like this, with saying that this hard drive is 500 GB. Now, the difference between an EFS and an EBS is that you do not have a particular volume that you are buying. If you are starting an EFS, if you are starting and your data is 2 GB, your EFS will automatically be 2 GB. If your data is 2 GB, your EFS is 2 GB. If your data is 5 GB, that means your data is bigger and it is now 5 GB. What happens to your EFS? Your EFS grows to 5 GB. Okay? Your EFS grows to 5 GB. If your data is 10 GB, your EFS grows to 10 GB. If your data is 200 GB, your EFS grows to 200 GB. You get the way the EFS is performing. The EFS will keep increasing as your data is increasing. If your data increase to 500 GB or 2 million GB, what will happen? Your EFS too will also increase to 2 million GB. So EFS is elastic in nature. As your data is increasing, EFS is increasing. As your data is reducing, if after some time now you had a 2 tera data in your EFS, after some time you decided and you remove all of that data and the data became just 10 GB, what will happen to your EFS? Your EFS will reduce back to 10 GB. Okay, once you start putting your data, the EFS start increasing. Once you start putting data, so EFS is just also some sort of a storage device in the cloud, that is elastic in nature. It does not have a particular volume. It is elastic in nature. As much as you put in more data, EFS keeps increasing. Okay, but it increases to a certain particular amount. Okay, it does not increase and go for forever. All right, so that is the particularity about EFS and EBS. Okay, So when if you are being asked generally what is an EFS, you say that it is an elastic file system that is scalable and have an elastic storage that is used with EC2 machines. All right, so you define EFS in your own way as you have understood it. It is just elastic. It is increasing as you are increasing. So we'll go through some of the differences between EFS and EBS in our later classes. So you see here, elastic file system is simple, scalable, and elastic storage system for our EC2 instances. And EFS is a network file system that organizes data in logical file hierarchy that is stored in a path-based system where data files are organized in folders and subfolders, compatible with only Linux-based EC2 machine. So you cannot use this EFS with Windows. You cannot use it with Windows. All right. EFS works with EC2 instances in multi-availability zones. What do we mean by multi-availability zones? That means you can have an EFS that is receiving machines from different availability zones, from different locations in the world. Okay, from different locations in the world. Look at this. This is what we are saying. We can have this as an EFS. This is our EFS. It is standard here, right? That is our EFS, please. It is standard here. Now, this EFS like this is receiving data from this machine, from this EC2 machine. It is also receiving data from this EC2 machine, and it is also receiving data from this EC2 machine. It can receive data from as many as 4 EC2 machines. All these machines are storing their data inside this EFS. All these machines, they stock their data inside this EFS. These are EC2 machines, and they stock their data inside this EFS. And these machines can be in different availability zones. This machine can be in, let's say, we take an example of a town in the US where there are so many different availability zones. Do you know the meaning of availability zones? Look at, let's go to our console and you see what we are talking about. When you come here, this is North Virginia. I am, my account right now is in North Virginia, right? So in North Virginia, we have these various availability zones. We have Ohio, North California, Oregon. This is a region. This is a region, and this region is separated into how many availability zones? This region is separated into 4 different availability zones. That means if you go to the US, they have 4 different availability zones within this region, right? Now if you come to maybe the southeast and Australia and the rest, you have the Mumbai is here. It is an availability zone. You have Osaka, you have Seoul, and all the rest. These are all availability zones, right? So your machine, one EC2 instance can be in Ohio, another one can be in California, another one can be in Oregon, but all of them are using one and the same EFS. Okay, all of them are using one and the same EFS. Like here, they are using this EFS. The machines are found in different availability zones, but they are using these EFS. All right. So let's say some theory about EFS. We say storage capacity and cost is automatically scaled up or down as we add or remove files. Yes, as you keep on adding or removing files, your storage capacity will increase and decrease. So when you add more files, it increases. It's like a plastic bag. EFS is like a plastic bag. As you keep adding, the thing keeps increasing. Like most AWS services, we pay only for what we use. So EFS is good because the difference is that if you go to the market and you want to buy a hard drive, like most of us are doing now, you go and buy a 10 terabyte hard drive. If you buy a 10 terabyte hard drive and you come home, if you come home, And from the time you may buy that 10 terabyte hard drive for about, let's say, 100,000 francs. Then you come home, you do not have data that is up to 10 terabyte, but you are sure that someday you will have data that is up to 10 terabyte. Now, for about 8 months that you are going to accumulate your data to reach that 10 terabyte, that extra space is sitting there and doing nothing. So you will keep on adding data and the space will be sitting there and doing just virtually nothing. Okay, so with EFS now, what they do is that what you are not supposed to go and buy a huge volume of data. Just buy your EFS volume, and then you start putting your data gradually. When you put your 10 gigabyte, you pay for 10 gigabyte. You put your 20 gigabyte, you pay for 20 gigabyte. You put your 30 gigabyte, you pay for 30 gigabyte. You put your 40 gigabyte, you pay for 40 gigabyte. So you pay only for what you use. And then at one moment, if you delete your data and come back to 20 gigabyte, there is no problem. You pay directly for that 20 gigabyte. So EFS increases and decreases. Okay, so that's an advantage of EFS over EBS. Highly available, scalable, and it is technically inexpensive. Okay, the cost of storage is based on the average monthly storage, right? When you store things inside your EBS, they will calculate and bill you at an average monthly storage, that per month what is the average amount of data that you have. All right, because it is not like you will start on 1st January, you will store 200 gigabytes of data, and then by the time they want to do send you a bill at around the 29th or the 30th, when the month is ending, you remove all the data and the data become 5 gigabytes, so that they should not give you high amount. No, they will bill you with an average monthly usage. Using security group to control access to EFS. So when we start creating EFS, you will see how this security group is being used. It has a particular port that we are going to see. The port number for EFS, is 2049. Port number for EFS is 2049. Don't forget this. Port number for EFS is 2049. If you create a security group without opening the port number 2049, EFS will not work. Okay, port number for EFS is 2049. All right, we are saying that we can create up to 1,000 file systems per region. That means you can create up to 1,000 different EFS per region. Now, we have elastic file systems in two different modalities. We have general purpose and we have max IO. Let's look at what is general purpose. General purpose performance mode is appropriate for most file systems, and it is the most selected by default. When you create a file system, uses web servers, and when you create a server and you are like taking information from the internet in constant periods of time, you are like an e-commerce website, you go for general purpose. Max IO is an enhanced performance. Okay, this is for people who are doing high trading. That means in this particular one, there is high throughput, high availability of internet, and the speed is actually high. When you go for this one, you pay a little bit higher. All right. Okay, bursting is allowed. That means you can increase the speed of how data is being sent and removed from your EBS, because generally the use of data is that when we keep data, we are keeping data so that we should be using it. So if you want to use data, you have to go into the EBS and remove the data from there and use. And when you remove the data, you can keep the data back there. So the speed of removing data from an EBS and keeping it back there, you can boost it. Okay, and boosting is free. Now, provisioned. Users can decide the max bus speed of the EBS but are charged more when speeds go beyond the default limit. Okay, so you have up to 1 terabyte, but when you go above 1 terabyte, you are being under now provision and you are going to pay for it. All right, we have two ways of using EBS. We have the standard tier and the infrequent access tier. Now let's take the standard tier. The standard tier is the one that when you create an EBS, it always, an EFS please, when you create an EFS, it always comes installed with the standard tier. The standard tier means that what? You are going to be using data from your EFS more frequently, maybe daily, maybe every 2 hours, maybe you are going to be removing data all the times from your EFS and using. You are going to be removing data from it and using most of the time. Okay, and if you are removing data frequently, you are going to be charged high for that. But if you are not the type of person that removes data from the EFS all the times, you are in infrequent access, right? And when you are in infrequent access, it means your data stays for long before you ever come and remove or retrieve the data from there. And when you are in infrequent access, you pay slightly lower. All right, people like Netflix, they use this type of system because they would like to keep movies that are highly watched at the standard and keep movies that are not always being watched, and they keep it at infrequent. Movies like somebody like me, I like to watch old-fashioned movies. Netflix will certainly send most of those movies to infrequent. Very few, not many people are accessing those type of movies, so they are sent to infrequent. Okay, we are set to start creating an EFS. Okay, EFS is a service, so we have to go to Elastic File System and then click Create File System and go ahead. So let's hit to our lab. Okay, this is our lab. All right, let's create before we start anything, let us first of all create the EFS. Let us create EFS. In order to create EFS, we look for the service EFS from here. This is the service EFS. Okay, I have one EFS which was created. Delete it. All right, let us create our EBS. When you launch on create EBS, you give the name of your EBS, please. EFS, I keep saying EBS, it is EFS, please. You give the name. Let's give the name new EFS, right? Take a look at this VPC here. It is default. Okay, it is a default VPC, so we cannot change it. It remains default. We have not yet created VPC. When we reach at VPC, you will understand most of these things. Our file system is being created. Okay, our file system is created. This is it here. It says new EFS. Okay, it has been created alongside with a security group. We said that EFS can only function with a security group that has what port? The port should be 2049. Remember when I wrote this port? 2049. Okay, this is the port number for EFS. So here, when we are creating the EFS, it creates its own security group, and that security group is already having that port open. So whichever machine that you are going to create, you are going to must link the security group that this EFS created to that machine. Okay, let's see. Let's come to EFS and see something. Click on the EFS. You come down. You come to network. You see, when we are in network, we are seeing that it is under creation here. Our security group will be created by default. Okay, our security group will be created by default, and all these security groups are going to have the 2049 port. All right, they are going to have it by default. So after some time, you see here creating. All right, after some time it is going to create. Now, okay, it is now available. You see, it is now available. A security group has been created. It is created with the name default. It's created with the name default. So whenever you create your new EC2 instance, even if you give it a security group, you will also have to attach this security group of the EFS to your new instance. Okay, we have created our EFS. Now, what is this EFS? We have just simply done, what have we done? Let us come here. What have we done, please? We have just, this is what we have done. We have just simply created this. We've created this here. We've created this. Okay, now what do we need to do? We have created this EFS here. This is our EFS that we have created here. We have created our EFS there. Okay, that is our EFS that we have created there, right? Now, this EFS we have created, what do? It has its security group, right? We are going to, the next thing is we are going to create two EC2 instance, one in one availability zone and another in a different availability zone. We are going to create these two EC2 instances like this. And then what are we going to do? We are going to link the two EC2 instance, link it to this one, and then link it to this one, right? And then we are going to enter this EC2 instance and try to see if we can see content that are found in this EFS. And we are going to enter this other EC2 instance and try to see if we can see content that are found in this EFS. All right, that is the activity that we are going to do right now. So where are we? We have created this EFS. It is already created. The next thing now is create the first EC2 and create the second EC2 and then linking them together. Let's move. All right. I would like to open in a different onglet. I want to create an instance, launch instance. I'm creating it machine 1. I'm taking Amazon Linux, T2 micro. For key pair, I think I have a key pair. I have a security group. All right, I have this 8 GB that is by default. I've created the first machine, EFS machine 1. Is it pending? I create the second machine. Machine 2. Linux, T2 micro. Now in my machine 2, the first machine was created where? Did we see where the first machine was being created? Let's come to EC2 and see where our first machine is created. Our first machine is created in US East 1D. All right, so the second machine that we are going to be creating, we are going to create it in 1A, so that it has 2 different availability zones. Okay, all right. We select our key pair. How do you change your availability zones? How to change your availability zone? Nobody should call me and ask again, how do you change our availability zone? Look up. You come to edit, you click on edit. It's just the same like creating a new EC2 a new security group. When you come to edit, what do? You come to subnet, right? When you see subnet, you see no preference. Okay, when you see no preference for subnet, then it will go into create in any availability zone, but we want it to be created in 1A because it was created in 1B. We want it to be created in 1A. Guys, don't create in 1C. Okay, 1C does not support T2 micro. Don't create in 1C. You can create in 1D, 1B, and 1A. So we want to create in 1A, right? So you come under subnet and then you select. Normally when you will still come to subnet, when you are creating your EC2 instance, subnet is always like any, but you will disable this any and you will choose your particular one. All right, then we take our existing security group, and then we launch. Okay, look at what we have now. We have, this is where we are right now. We have this machine. This machine is in US East 1B, and this one is in US East 1A. Okay, these are the 2 machines that we have in 2 different regions. All right, we have created 2 machines in 2 different regions. What do? We start from the first one, the one in 1B. Okay, let us SSH inside our machine. Come to our instance. The first one, this one, we connect to it. You connect through any means that you know how to connect. Any means is acceptable. I'm connecting using git bash, but you can connect using putty, no problem. All right, we have SSH into our system. Okay, now the first thing after you SSH into your system is always try to see if you can update sudo it is a yum. The Amazon is having a yum repository, right? Sudo yum update. Okay, everything is up to date. Now the first thing we are going to do is that we should install the EFS. We are going to install the EFS repositories, right? EFS comes with its own repositories, and we are going to install it, right? They are generally referred to as EFS utilities, and there is a command to install that EFS utilities. The command is found in our notes. Let me use the command from your notes so that you should also be versed with the commands. This is a command. Install EFS utilities. So this is the command. I just simply copy the command. Install EFS utilities. I copy the command. I paste here. The utilities get installed. The second thing is that I am going to create a folder, right? In Linux we don't call it a folder, we call it a directory. I'm going to create a directory, and that directory must be EFS. It cannot be any other name, please. You must create a directory and it must be EFS. Your note says it. Make directory EFS. That's it. You must create this directory which must be EFS. Okay, so I make directory. The directory is already created. After the directory is created, now I go to my console. I go to my console where I created my EFS. Where is my EFS? I can still type EFS. You should know how to manipulate your console very well. This is my EFS. I click on my EFS and then I click attach. Now look at what will happen here, please. Just look at it. Will fail, and I will tell you why it will fail. When I click, I copy this US using the NFS client. You copy this and then you come to your EFS and then you paste. This is to link now your EFS to your machine, but here I have just linked. It will not be able to link. Why will it not be able to link? Because I have not yet attached the security group of the EFS to this computer. So look, come along here, please. Look, I need to attach the security group of this EFS to this computer before this EC2 instance will be able to welcome this EFS. I need to put its own security group there. So what should I do? I go to my instance. The instance is certainly what? Machine 1. That is the instance. Okay, I go to machine 1. I click on actions. I go to security. I go to change security group, and then when I come down here, I just click here. You will see that default security group of the EFS. This is it there. It is always created by default. Create default, and then you save. Right? When you do that, let me just do it for the 2. Okay, do it for this one too. You come to security, change security groups, and then you come here, default, and then you save. Okay, right now after saving, I should go now back to my EFS, copy this using the NFS client. I copy this, and then I come now to my EFS. I paste. Now I'm expecting that under normal circumstances it should link. My system is linked. Control kill system. Okay, let me go to sudo su. Now ls make dir is showing that my EFS was not created. ls. Okay, that is my EFS now created. Now I can link it now. I should be having a problem with my system. Okay, let me try to link it to the other machine first of all. Let us SSH to the other machine. Just hold this one like that. Connect to the other machine. SSH there. Let me transform to super user. Okay, Let me install the utilities. I have to install the utilities. What am I getting? Sudo yum install that. Okay, already installed. Did I miss the machine? Which machine did I take? Supposed to take this now. Let me see if the two of them are the same. Yeah, the two of them are the same. That was my error. We change to super user. And then we try to update, which of course should already be updated. Now we try to install our EFS utilities. After our EFS utilities are installed, we create a file system. Okay, we have created our file system. It is functioning, right? Functioning very well. Let's see what our notes tell us. Copy our NFS command and run in the first machine. That we will do for the second machine. Switch to EFS and then that and create files. All right, let's go to our console. This is our NFS client. We have a problem. Let us check our security group. Let us check our security group. All right, this one has one security group. That means it did not add the security group. Let me see. Take one. Okay, we can only add one after the other. How come it did not add? What happened? So you see, if it doesn't add, if your security group is not added, nothing will work. I love, because we have encountered this error. Most of the time you will always encounter these errors, please. And when you encounter them, that is the power of your architecture. Now start searching. Where should I be searching? Where should I start searching? You see, technically it is just one security group that is here. We did not add. I don't know how come. Add. It is now here. Okay, save. All right, we believe now that our system will run. Okay, let's go now to our EFS, copy our NFS, come to our system, paste it there, and we execute. You see, it runs now without any problem. Now, running now like this means that it has already been attached. So let me enter the EFS. I am now inside the EFS. Let me create some files. Touch file 1, file 2, file 3. Okay, I've created 3 files. The files are created inside EFS. Okay, all right, I come out. Now the idea is I have entered into this machine, this B, and I've created files inside this EFS. The target now is go to this machine and enter there and see if you can see those files. Okay, let us go there. So look up here. This is 67 and this is 50. We are just from working with 50. Let's go and work with 67. Okay, let us copy our dependency. Let us make sure that our EFS is there. It is there. So let us run our dependency. It runs successfully. Okay, now from here I want to enter here. I want to enter my EFS, and then I see whether I can see the files that I created in the other machine. If I see file 1, file 2, file 3, then I've done the right thing. Good. These are the files. File 1, file 2, file 3. I can also create some files here. Let me say touch paper. Paper 1. Paper 1 is a file. Paper 4 is another file. Right? I've created 2 files in this other machine. Let's see if we can go to the other machine and see the 2 files. Alright? This other machine. Let's see if we can see the 2 files. We first of all look for, enter our EFS. And then what do? We use ls. You see the paper 1, paper 2, paper 4 that I've created. So what have we successfully done? We have successfully created this architecture. You yourself, you can create as many EC2 instances as possible and link them to one EFS. There will be no problem. At this level, any question? At this level, any question? Declan, is it that very clear?
So I had a problem with my network, so I could not actually follow up very well.
You had a problem with your network?
Yes, I was disconnected for a while.
All right. Roberto. Yes, you have unmuted. You can talk now.
It's clear, it's clear, sir.
It's clear. Okay, fine. Barton. At the moment I'm calling Barton, the man is disappearing. All right. We move ahead to our next topic, which is snapshots. Snapshot is a very it's a small topic, but I will just wonder we should trash it right now and then we go ahead. Snapshots. Where is our PPT for snapshots? All right. With respect to snapshot, this is what we are going to do. This is what is going to be happening with respect to snapshots, please. We are going to create an EC2 instance. We are going to create an EC2 instance, like we are going to create an instance of this nature. That instance is going to come with its own volume, and then we are going to create another volume. Now, for the sake of time, we are going to create this volume, but we are not going to mount it here. We are going to create this volume, and then we are going to create a snapshot of this volume. And then when we create a snapshot of that volume, we'll take that snapshot to a different region. We'll take this snapshot to a different region, and from this snapshot, we are going to create a volume. From the snapshot, we are going to create a volume. We are going to create a volume of another EBS. Snapshot only functions with elastic block storage, not EFS. We are out of EFS. So we are going to create a snapshot of this volume. So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and create a volume, and then we create a snapshot of that volume. Create this small snapshot, and then we take the snapshot to a different region. And then from that snapshot we are going to create another volume, and then we are going to use this volume now and mount to another EC2 instance. Another EC2 instance will be there. We are going to create another EC2 here where we are going to mount. Okay, so the target will be create a volume, take the snapshot of that volume, go with it to another region, create a volume from that snapshot, mount the volume to an EC2 instance. That is the architecture we are about to do. So we already have EC2 instances running, so no need of wasting time. We just go and create another volume. We create a volume. These are the two root volumes for the EC2 instance. We'll create a volume of, let's create a volume of 10 GB. 10 GB. Now, where is our machine? You should be very careful. We are creating a volume of 10 GB to which machine? That machine where we are creating that volume should be the same, without which you are not going to see it. I hope you understand that. So we are creating the volume, and we consider that the volume is the volume for our machine that is found in 1A. Our volume is created. Now we can go ahead and mount or attach this volume here and mount, but we all know that process. It will kill us time. So let us just create a snapshot of this volume. You come to actions, create snapshot. Give the name of your snapshot 10 GB snapshot. That's the name of my snapshot. I create my snapshot. Where are we standing? We are standing at this level. I have created a volume of 10 GB, and in that volume of 10 GB I've created, this is 10 GB, please. In that volume of 10 GB I have created this snapshot from it. Okay, and now what do I want to do? I want to take the snapshot to a different region. So I'm creating the snapshot. Let me go to the snapshot. These are snapshots. This is a snapshot that I created. What do I want to do? We are in North Virginia. Here we are in North Virginia. Please look up here where your availability zone is always showing up here. So we are in North Virginia. So I want to take that snapshot to California. Let me take it to California, right? So I click actions, I click copy snapshot. Now I come down here. California is what? California is US West 1. So I change here, I look for US West 1. This is US West 1. Okay, I've copied to that region, that availability zone. So in order to see my volume that I've copied, I have to go to that availability zone, right? That means I have to change from North Virginia to California. When I go to California, it takes me directly to the volume, to the snapshot panel. This is my snapshot, right? My snapshot panel, here it is. Okay, I am now there. It is 10 GB. You can see it from there. Now what do I want to do? I am at what level? I am at what level? I am here. I've already carried a snapshot here. The next thing to do now is to create another volume from my snapshot. So how am I going to do that? I am going to click on my snapshot, take actions, and then create volume from snapshot. I can add the volume. I can add the volume to 15 GB, but I cannot reduce the volume more than 10 GB. All of us, we know why. Okay, if I reduce, they know that if you reduce the volume, you can destroy data, but you can increase the volume. Okay, right. I am about to create now US West 1C. I'm about to create now my volume. My volume is created. This is now, I can go now to volumes, and I see a volume of 15 GB that has been created. Right now I can create, now you can go ahead, you already know the process of creating a machine and then attaching a volume to that machine in a different availability zone. Okay, any question? Benz, can you talk?
Yes, sir.
Any question?
I don't really understand that, sir.
That is the reason for the question. Any question? You don't really understand.
Sir, but I understood that the EFS is for the this thing, for the storage, sir. Yes, that sir, I don't really understand that, sir.
That is the problem. At the moment you have the that is why I insisted that you attend the classes with your earpiece and your mics ready. At the moment I am talking and you are not understanding, you raise up your hand. Is that don't you have the button to raise up your hand?
I have it, sir, but sir, the problem is that to understand this thing one time like this is not easy, sir.
No, that is the concept of I always had this issue when I was in school, and it is bad. When they are teaching, you lost focus and say that I'll go and read at home and I will know. And because maybe you think that the videos are going to be recorded and given to you, you watch at the videos and you will learn better. Yes, that is true. You watch the video and you learn better, but a follow-up, a live follow-up and question will make you know more than watching the videos without anybody being able again to help you. Because the tendency is when they are teaching, you might be sitting and watching at your TV or being distracted by one person saying that after all I will watch the videos.
And then what's the need now to be sitting now, sir?
That once
I'm asking that then what's now the need to be sitting if it's that you are not focused?
No, there are times you sit and you are like you are in class, but you keep the reason why you did not understand is not because you are not following up. It is because you are there looking at the screen, but your mind was not focused. Your mind was not focused. It happens. It happens to everybody. So you should learn how to recalibrate and focus your mind and follow up explanations. When you don't get any, you don't understand anything, you ask a question. All right. Okay, for the others, I hope it is very clear. We have gone almost close to 1 hour 20 minutes. It's too much. The video will be too long.
It's clear, sir.
All right. If it is clear, then I believe we are going to meet on Monday. All right.
Monday morning also.
Monday morning at 9 o'clock, we are going to introduce DevOps.
Okay.
Monday morning, 9 o'clock, we are introducing DevOps, please.
I have a question, sir.
Yes.
So, wait, that means we'll be having our class in the morning or in the afternoon, sir?
We are saying that Monday morning we are introducing DevOps.
And why can we do it in the evening, sir?
DevOps cannot run in the evening because AWS is running in the evening. So DevOps cannot run again in the evening. It is holidays, so I mean, you take some extra time in the morning and we do DevOps. Do you want to follow DevOps? You are not yet stable with AWS. You want to follow DevOps, Benz?
Well, sir, that means we are not concerned, sir.
Everybody is concerned. I'm just wondering. Following AWS is a big problem to you. I'm just wondering if you are capable of following DevOps.
I'm not capable how now, sir?
You need to tell me. You are the one to tell me. DevOps is fully coding, please. DevOps is coding.
So that means we are through with AWS.
No, we are just about half of AWS. We are not yet through. The reason is because we are taking DevOps because there are people who are fast learners, and if I keep going slow, I am killing them. So we just need to take AWS and DevOps at the same moment, and we are moving.
So
Life is for the fittest.
That means we will have DevOps in the morning and AWS in the evening, sir.
You got it. And then you have within the day to practice all the two. So if you tell me that your day is boring or you don't have what to be doing, then I believe you are clowning.
So we don't have what to do on our side. You know, some people like us like this, we always go to look at what to eat now, sir. What we can eat next.
That's what I'm saying. So right now you have a full occupation, totally full occupation. All right, guys. See you on Monday. Prepare for your DevOps very well and do some research. Know what is DevOps before you are coming. All right. I believe there are some new guys that have to come in and they know nothing with Linux. So I'm very sorry for those who are already advanced in Linux. I'm very sorry. I'll have to do some sort of a refresh, because the guys that are coming in, some guys that might be coming in, they don't know anything with Linux. So I'm forced to do that, because if I don't do that, then we are not doing any justice to those who are joining DevOps without having done AWS. It's an advantage to you to also concretize your knowledge in Linux. Okay, we are just going to do I think one class of Linux and that's it. All right.
Okay, sir.
So that means that for those who are working, how will the program be, sir?
You are the one to answer that question. There was a DevOps session you never joined. A decision was taken there. So all what you are saying now is your own. Had it been you were there to do some voting and pull the decision to your favor, we could have been listening to you, but the decision was already taken. So all what you are saying now is we cannot rely on what you are saying when we know that you are not serious, because not attending the first day means you are not serious. Of course. All right, guys. See you guys on Monday.